Gotta talk fast. Gotta talk fast. Gotta talk faster, faster, faster. Gotta talk fast.
Welcome to an oral review of Archie Comic Sonic the Hedgehog, reminding you to have a measured response to the Luigi situation. Has it really been that long since we've recorded that the Luigi? Oh, man. Do not post Luigi jokes online. Do not tape Luigi memes to your office cubicle. Do not say the name Luigi around anyone tied to law enforcement or intelligence agencies. If someone asks you about the Luigi situation, just say, "That's crazy." And nod your head, and just nod your head. I'm Nick, and except for this intro, I wrote the script.
And I'm Dominic, and except for this intro, I haven't read any of today's script. Now, really, I can't emphasize that for this whole multiple generations, we have been just so used for, unless you're like a minority, right?
One of those people.
Yeah. For many generations, we have been very comfortable just saying whatever we want and having no consequences other than like, okay, maybe like a business will not like us, or maybe like school or work might get us in trouble, and then that's it. Or like worst case scenario, we'll get canceled. I don't think this generation of Americans has really had to deal with a government that is just freewheeling on penalizing you for things. And you're thinking, well, we have our constitutional rights. In theory, you do. In theory, you do. Right?
Yeah, it's more, how can I word it?
It's on a piece of paper. That's all it is.
It's a piece of paper, guys. Never forget that.
Never forget that. Okay. We should read things. We should go to Sonic. Okay, here we go. Issue number Archie Sonic the Hedgehog, issue number 23. Release date March of 1995. Published June of 1995. Ivo Robotnik, Freedom Fighter, Part 1. Script by Angelo De Cesare. Penciled by Dave Minock. We open on Sonic, Tails, and Sally picking some berries when Sonic suddenly starts moving and grooving his legs. Almost like he has ants in his pants, which should be impossible since our fearless hero refuses to bow down to the man and wear pants. His dancing is due to the ants in his shoes. Sonic takes off his shoes to review some farmer ants that have made their home in his shoes. He shakes them out and into his hand when Rotor comes running up, thanking Sonic for finding his ants that he misplaced from his ant farm. We see two shadowy figures in the background, watching. It's Robotnik and Snively. Instead of relying on robots to get the job done, they have decided to march up to the Freedom Fighters and try to roboticize the Freedom Fighters themselves. This has Captain Kirk vibes, which I respect. Robotnik pulls out his portable roboticizer and starts aiming it at Rotor, when out of nowhere, a giant tube comes from the sky, sucks up the Sally, Sonic, Tails, Rotor, Snively, and Robotnik. You put the there. I want to.
Yeah,
okay. The
Sonic
Sally.
And Sally, yeah.
The six of them land on a platform in the middle of a very spacious UFO. It's actually UPO now. Or UAP.
Yeah, UAP.
Everyone is trying to figure out what happened. Robotnik, not wanting to hang out with the Freedom Fighters, starts marching off the platform, heading for the vacuum-like device that sucked them up. As he makes his way to the device, a giant metallic hand slams down in front of Robotnik. He smashes into the hand like a wall. A giant, silver, galactic-esque figure grabs Robotnik and starts speaking to him. That smirk on your face.
Every time there's a weird character, I'm making you say something.
Do you think that I brought you here with my umbilicus so that you could escape to your planet? You are going to stay with me forever. It would have been lower, but I was laughing.
Yeah, that was obvious. That is clearly what I thought too.
Yeah. Is it?
No.
What were you thinking? Look, I'm not going to do post-production on this, okay?
Yeah, no, I'm not going to tell you to do it again. It just wasn't what I was. It's so great about art. what I envisioned, what you envisioned, completely different. And you know what? Both interpretations valid. Mine would have been a little bit safer. That's all. How do we feel about this first part? What do we think?
I need to say it play out. It's very it's a very Looney Tunes-esque in that it's Robotnik and Snively. Yeah, as you pointed out, it's they're out there in the bushes with a gun. Just very extremely basic setup, which is an arbitrary one so that they can all be sucked up and put into the situation together.
It's also Angelo DeCesare.
DeCesare. I think that seems like the coolest and most respectful way to say that name.
I'm a firm believer of saying things in the coolest way.
Yeah.
And so until we get an email from Angelo himself, I refuse to accept corrections from other people. I think only he knows how to say his name. Thank you very much. If he writes in saying you guys are saying our name wrong, like my name wrong, I will put an asterisk in the rest of the episode saying we're saying it wrong, but we'll still say it wrong.
No.
Do you think the farmer ants chose to live in Sonic's shoes? Like, how do you think Rotor misplaced the ants?
Well, they clearly just got it. I mean, ants, seriously speaking, they get everywhere. They can travel long distances.
They can get in your pants.
They can get in your pants, but no, they sneak in through the crevices of usually your home, and they get to work. So I think that's what they were doing. They got into Sonic's shoes, and it's a believable concept.
The worst is when ants gets into the pants of a liar, because liars always have their pants on fire.
Yeah.
So
that's how the saying
like
goes.
Roasted ants.
That's how the saying goes, Nick. Wow, even so out of practice, you thought that was really funny. You thought that was really, really hilarious.
So there's open mic night down the street.
Is that really?
Yeah, I'm thinking maybe I'm getting together my type 5. So the problem is I can't hear the audience laughing, but I think we have a connection, and I think I heard laughter.
Through the phone
and through time, and space.
Yeah.
So it's in what 1, 2, 3 in 4 days. Yeah. I'm at like 6 a.m. I'll be like, yeah, they laughed.
Look, the reason why I chose that voice was because it felt right, and I think the next part will reveal why.
Oh wow!
I think I got it.
What a good segue into the next part.
Ivo Robotnik, Freedom Fighter, Part 2. The giant speaks. My name is Karhim. I am a collector from the planet Wheat. I've decided to collect... Actually, hold on. Yeah, I was looking at this. It's 3 E's.
Did I put in 2?
Yeah. It probably auto-corrected. It's okay.
Is W-E-E-T a word?
I think there's a dash in there, too. It's just obscured by how close they are. Enhance.
This is all we're getting.
Okay.
You know what?
I'm going to interpret it as yes.
I think you're right.
But here's the thing, because it's an E, it like connects and
it's we-E-T, I think.
I am a collector from the planet Wiet.
Yeah, okay. That sounds better.
Wiet, or would it be Wiet? I've decided.
I like to think he was like saying that to the freedom fighters. Like, I forget. I've been out so long, I don't remember.
It's been so long. I've decided to collect and study your species. Robotnik immediately starts trying to sell everyone out so he can be let free. Quiet! You are obviously an inferior member of an inferior species. Perhaps I should dispose of you. Sonic and Sally quickly speaks up for some reason and say that Robotnik is vital to the Freedom Fighters and that they need Robotnik for their survival. Karhim agrees to not dispose of Robotnik. The giant grabs the rest of the gang and drops everyone in a forest-like terrarium. It is a replica of Mobius, the organic parts. Robotnik is grossed out. Sonic shouts out to Karhim to make some chow. Karhim agrees, turning his back to the terrarium to a giant stove that you'd find in a kitchen of an Applebee's. So just like a grill.
Yeah, I don't know why I chose Applebee's. I know originally I was writing a 1950s kitchen.
Applebee's?
No, what I was originally writing.
Oh, okay.
But then I realized it looked more industrial.
Yeah,
especially with like the hood on top over here.
Yes.
And so I was like, well, okay, it's more restaurant quality. And so I think about these scripts as I write my bad jokes.
I do. No, I do believe you. Yeah.
You're just not impressive with your joke writing.
I really believe that you're trying.
Oh, man.
Classic me trying to. I do that a lot where it's like, I'm really trying to, like, hype someone up, and I do the complete opposite.
Yeah, no, you just completely destroy them. Yeah. Anyway, I hope you're not trying to do that type 5. But yeah, it felt more restaurant quality. So then I was like, what restaurants do I know? Mm-hmm. And then I guess I've got an Applebee's bit going now. Was it Applebee's that lost the fajitas?
Oh, shit. I don't know. All I know
is so long ago since we recorded the episode, I don't even remember my own jokes.
I'm a Chili's guy at heart.
Okay, so
I grew up on Chili's, not Applebee's.
So I got to start making Chili's jokes.
Yeah.
All right.
Honestly. As the giant's back is turned, Sonic busts out... Sonic busts.
Nice.
Sonic busts out Old Faithful and tries to spin dash into the glass walls to try and escape. He bounces off the hard alien glass and has a mild concussion. Rotor and Tails begin to freak out. After all, if the spin dash can't save them, what can? We cut to later in the day. The Freedom Fighters are building what I assume is shelter? Which makes no sense because they have nothing they need to shelter against. Maybe they are building it for privacy or maybe boredom. Either way, everyone is hard at work except for Robotnik, who is, rightfully, just relaxing under a tree. Sonic states that they lied to Karhim and said that Robotnik is a freedom fighter, and that if Karhim starts being suspicious of Robotnik, that Karhim might dispose of them. Robotnik reluctantly agrees, and Sonic forces him to say the freedom fighter oath. I, Ivo Robotnik, promise to fight for freedom, justice, and good manners, and oppose all evil tyrants, especially those with cheap red costumes and pointy heads. Later that evening, Rotor and Sonic are brainstorming on how to break out. Robotnik hears this, and reminds them that part of being an evil genius is that he's a genius, and that if they gather the materials he needs, he'll be able to break everyone out of their glass prison. Sonic agrees. He's a fool. End of part 2. Ivo Robotnik, Freedom Fighter, Part 3. We open on the unthinkable. Sonic the Hedgehog is dead. Karhim, being a just and caring ruler, quickly opens the terrarium and grabs Sonic to examine him. As he grabs him, Sonic gets up and starts running all over Karhim. Karhim tries to grab the fastest thing alive, but Sonic is too fast for him. As Sonic is distracting, Rotor, Tails, Sally, and Robotnik fly out in a makeshift helicopter that Robotnik has made. They fly out of the terrarium, and Robotnik lands on the spaceship's control panel. He opens a door to outer space, and Karhim, with Sonic the Hedgehog still on his body, are sucked out into outer space. Sonic goes inside the suit, protecting him from the harsh nothingness of space. The Freedom Fighters team up on Robotnik and Snively, easily capturing them. Rotor shoots out the giant tube vacuum for Karhim to grab onto and sucks him back into the spaceship. Thank you for saving me. You Freedom Fighters have taught Karhim a valuable lesson. It was me who was the inferior being in the way I treated species that were different from my own. I shall return you to your home. From now on, I shall collect non-living things like intergalactic comic books. The Freedom Fighters land back on Earth, with Rotor freeing the ants from his ant farm. End of part 3. So just to clarify, because this is all kind of smashed into one action paragraph, right? Is that the Freedom Fighters, including Robotnik, were all in the clear.
Yeah.
There's like, hey, this guy is in outer space now. He's completely harmless. He's off to drift into space forever. But the Freedom Fighters value life. In this case, synthetic life, because we're assuming that Karhim is robotic.
I am not assuming that Karhim is robotic.
Sure. He's like a biomechanical kind of thing.
Yeah, he's just an alien to us.
Right.
Though I do think it's a safe assumption that he is robotic because of the red eyes.
Yes.
That,
Same as Robotnik.
He falls in line with a lot of robotic things that Robotnik has made.
Yes, but either way, it is clearly a sentient being.
Yes.
Whether it's, it's a soma situation where the consciousness has been implanted in the mechanical body.
Wait. Because if he's a robot, I mean, the other robots are sentient, right?
Yeah. But we don't know the backstory.
Why does he care about this robot then?
No, why do the freedom fighters care?
No, they only care about Sonic.
That's a good point.
If this dude's a robot?
Look, I don't think they ever went into it. I just know that he's robot presenting.
Yes.
So it's actually the correct pronouns are correct. The correct pronoun is it.
Yeah. If you notice, I probably gendered him.
You did, but
outside,
so did they.
But I don't think I gendered him in the actual script.
You might have once, but I don't remember.
I was specifically trying not to gender him, but
good on you. No,
my
you used the name. You didn't even use a pronoun. So.
Yeah, my old school upbringing of being a bigot might have came through. I don't know what that joke was.
So basically, the main cast of characters were like, "Hey, we win," but there's a split now. Is that freedom fighters are like, "We value life no matter what," whereas Robotnik is like, "No, fuck that guy," right? And then
also because Sonic was there, he was getting rid of Sonic too.
Mm-hmm.
So,
but they don't address that.
Yeah, they really don't.
They really don't. But also at the same time, they're like, I think they kind of see it coming.
Yeah,
right. Like this is the man that genocided like 99% of their planet. So it's whatever.
Yeah.
If anything, it's very liberal, very neo-lib to be like, no, it's okay.
They definitely kind of shot themselves in the foot when the giant machine god was like, you want me to take care of this guy for you? And they're like, no, we need Robotnik.
Yeah. It is very... It is only through sheer luck that Karhim learns its lesson.
Yeah.
Right? And that Robotnik was spared in the first place as well. So in both ways, this whole thing is clearly within a neoliberal framework. The classic, hey, if you trust the system, good will prevail in the end, which is not how real life turns out at all.
Well, good didn't prevail in the end because Robotnik is still alive and he has a habit of genociding.
We are back at the status quo.
Well, yeah.
Right? Things could have been worse, but we're back at the status quo. That's what matters.
Yep. Well, I mean, someone learned their lesson, and it's Rotor. I didn't address this, but he freed all his ants.
Yes. You know what? To be fair, I did like that narrative, parallel where it's like, hey, these ants are tiny, and we're like lording over them, and they're a nuisance. Meanwhile, Karhim finds them an interesting specimen as well. That's an interesting narrative mirror.
Overall, what are your thoughts of this 3-parter?
It's a tangent of a story. We're coming off of the heels of this big Robotnik has returned story, right?
Well,
he dies, returns, and then now we're starting anew with the status quo.
I don't know how big of a story it is since he was gone and then back in the next issue. But...
Exactly. So we're kind of resetting here with this interesting story. Karhim is an interesting character, and I do like that while it was very expedient in the way he learned his, Karhim learned. We're going to say he because it was never confirmed, sorry. But I'm going to say he.
Yeah.
But he never learned, he did learn a lesson, and now he is an interesting character out there. He's just out there, ready to be used in the arsenal of characters, right?
I mean, how do you think they'll go intergalactic? Do you think there'll be like an intergalactic like Green Lantern police force that they got to deal with and stuff like that?
They've gone interdimensional, so why not?
Yeah. I mean, yes, I agree. I'm just curious if
they will. If the prediction is that they will, that's tough. I kind of hope that they don't. Just because my thing, at least for these first, 200 issues, right? We have so much potential to build up a cast of characters here on Mobius, right? On planet side.
I mean, I think you're scratching at the heart of my issue with a lot of this is like, I'm ready to explore more about Mobius, and it's very obvious they want to do more serious storytelling. And then they're just like, but let's not explore that, and let's bring in, let's just make things crazy and have intergalactic threats and interdimensional worlds and whatnot instead of...
This is just Brainiac from DC Comics, right?
I think more Galactus. I think.
Oh, sure. From Marvel.
It's a combination of. I think there's specifically a Marvel character called the Collector that goes around collecting like species and stuff.
Sure.
And then it has. I could be wrong about that. I don't know that much about Space Marvel, which is its own like thing.
Right. Or Space DC. I just know that Brainiac is a character that specifically shrinks cities to collector size for him because he's so smart, henceforth Brainiac, and he has so much knowledge and the capacity for knowledge that his one desire in his life is to just collect knowledge for the sake of collecting knowledge. And then, he collects cities so that he can propagate that knowledge. Mm-hmm. So it is very much like this, but you're right. I think, isn't Galactus a consumer?
Yeah. And I think that, they're just playing off the idea of a giant vacuum coming out onto the planet.
The umbilicus.
Felt very Galactus inspired.
Yeah.
And like I said, I think there's a like space person called the Collector who just collects like species and stuff in Marvel. But I, again, don't know that much about that. So
me neither. Yeah, it's
fine.
Closed circuit, and it's fine. I understand that this is not the more serious story.
Well, and like again, did I say this? I know I like started to bring it up. I don't know if I finished the sentence. It's Desiree. I think we just got distracted by his name. He tends to write more of the lighthearted comics.
Yeah, so. And maybe again, if it's a business thing, we acknowledge it, or at least we are acknowledging that possibility that if it's not that we're cool with it, but rather not that we like it, but if it's there, it's there. Like hey. Because of time constraints, the more serious stories arcs take longer to formulate and put out there, and we need to filler effectively. So
I want to point out before we continue, another space shot.
Yes, I thought you were going to say the spaceship, but yes, the
spaceship just looks like a pillow.
Yes, I think it's an interesting design.
It is. I'm not against this.
Yeah.
I'd hang out on that spaceship. For space, we have just the sun, Mobius, and what I will say Saturn.
A Saturn-like thing.
And given where we're at, I'm going to say the Mobius moon.
You're close. Rather like it's a close shot.
Yeah.
So there could be many more moons of Mobius that we're not seeing.
Okay.
Yeah. Remember, distances, man.
Do you think the Saturn-esque planet is a moon?
I don't think it can be because, maybe.
Are you talking about sizes?
The gravitation
with the rings?
Well, a ring means that it has a gravitational pull.
Well, everything has a gravitational pull.
Right, but enough to not have it sucked away by Mobius.
Yeah.
So, okay. I think in my mind, I made the mistake of assuming that Mobius is an Earth-sized planet. Mobius could be like 100 times bigger than Earth.
Yeah, or it's smaller.
We don't know.
Yeah.
Like it could be just that one continent, although I don't think so. I don't know. So again, when it comes to space, don't just assume a parallel with our solar system, the real life solar system. It could be, look at that.
Look at all the stars. Look at all these suns, the many suns of Mobius. This hasn't been brought up before.
And they got the space gas or whatever.
Yeah, honestly, the space gas is like a running theme.
I think it's cool.
I'm into it. I just wonder what's up with that.
It's good visual, background without being out of the way.
Yeah.
All right, here we go. The Vol-ANT-Teer. Script by Angelo De Cesare, penciled by Dave Manock. Oh, I thought it was like Voltaire, the French philosopher.
No, it's just ants. We have an ant theme.
Yeah, like Antoine.
Yeah.
All right, well, whatever. We open on Tails coming to Antoine in the middle of the night. Tails has lost a power ring that Sonic entrusted in him, and Tails doesn't know what to do. Antoine, being the hero that he is, promises Tails that he will help him find the ring. Antoine asks where he lost it, and Tails informs him that he misplaced it in Robotropolis. Fear strikes across Antoine's face. Tails says probably the one thing that would make Antoine go. You can't go on a one-man mission. It's too dangerous. Gotta remember my French simp. Okay, here we go. Dangerous? Do you think Sonic is the only one who can do the one-man mission? Just draw me the map, Tails, and I will bring the backpack.
You did a good job of making him afraid. While still like, yeah.
Yeah. Thank you. All this commotion wakes up Buns, who was apparently Antoine's neighbor. Above ground, Tails begins to explain how brave Antoine is for undergoing this dangerous mission by himself, but Buns does not care and goes right back inside her house. We cut to the streets of Robotropolis. Antoine pops his head out from a manhole cover. He's trying to get his bearings when a car starts rushing towards him. Antoine is too engrossed in the map to look behind him and see the car coming. Suddenly, a giant girder lands in between himself and the car. The car crashes into the girder, flipping over Antoine. As in, like, the car flips over Antoine and he doesn't.
In fact, he doesn't even acknowledge it happened.
Exactly.
He's too engrossed in his map.
Mm-hmm. Antoine continues looking and finds the structure that Tails left the backpack on. He climbs it and finds the backpack, but SWATBots noticed and are in pursuit. They all start climbing the ladder, when the ladder cracks in half and they all fall down. We see a shadow of Bunny standing over the SWATBots' remains. Antoine is now sneaking out of Robotropolis, and he needs to cross a pipe going over a river of toxic ooze. Antoine decides to safely crawl through the pipe so he won't slip and fall. Just then, Robotnik and Snively are out and about, looking for an intruder that their sensors picked up. Snively says that there's life forms coming from inside the pipe. Robotnik decides to smash the ship into the pipe. But at the last possible moment, the pipe swings out of the way, and Robotnik and Snively crash into the ooze river. Antoine gets back to the above-ground village of Knothole and gives Tails back his backpack. Tails thanks him and flies off. Antoine then goes up and kisses Bunny on the cheek and thanks Buns for helping him out on his mini adventure. End of the Vol-ANT-Teer.
I think we have officially my favorite thing Robotnik has ever done,
which is just
he just decided to commit. None of his plan makes any sense. He's just like, I'm gonna fly this ship into that pipe and just kamikaze it.
It's so arbitrary that he does
there's
this.
no reason to do this, especially with Robotnik being Robotnik. I know that ship has guns.
Yeah,
there's no way that ship doesn't have guns.
This is the first. Okay, fine. This is the second thing that doesn't have a weapon on it that he's built.
What? I refuse to believe this doesn't have a weapon on it. I'm sorry.
Me neither. Yeah, I or me as well. I can't. Why is it? Well, first of all, I understand why they're dressed up in their night gear.
Yeah,
it's 99.
Yeah,
but why is he holding a bat?
That's his what's this stuffed blankie kind of thing.
Why is it a bat, not a chicken or an egg?
I don't know. He likes bats.
Okay, or a robot.
Why are you maybe he's had that since he was a child, and that's how he that's his comfort bat.
God, is he a goth?
Yeah, probably. You don't think Robotnik is in a goth batties? Goth batties?
Big robot.
I just need to sit with that and be like, yeah, I'm pretty fucking good.
Big robot goth BF.
Yeah, exactly. No, if anybody in this universe, it's Robotnik.
Yeah.
Let's be real here. So yeah, Robotnik, rad as hell, decides to just fly himself into the pipe.
What was the plan? He was still gonna.
You know what?
He was still gonna land in the ooze river.
What I'm gonna say, in his defense, he's tired. He just woke up. He doesn't know. He's not thinking straight. He just knows there's an intruder, and his lizard brain, his lizard 2 a.m. brain is we need to take care of this business any way I know how, and that's that. You know what? Say what you will. That would have gotten results if Buns wasn't there.
This reminds me of the police raid on Breonna Taylor's home. No, it's because the case was where Breonna. This is serious. This is real.
I know.
No, where Breonna Taylor and her boyfriend. Who this is a victim? I'm serious. This is a victim. This is terrible.
I know.
This is a terrible case of police misconduct where Breonna Taylor, who was a paramedic, and she was living with her boyfriend, and they were both awakened in the middle of the night by a knock on the door, a slamming on like a hard knock on the door. And Breonna Taylor's boyfriend, I forget his name, I apologize. He pulls out, he has a gun, which, he's American, he's a gun owner, that's fine.
He's allowed to own guns.
There's an intruder, knocking on the door, and it's like, I'm gonna like be ready to take this person down, whoever's coming through the door. And then they slam the police, because it's long debated, did they identify them as police? And
I thought it was confirmed they didn't.
It was confirmed that either
I'm like 90% sure they confirmed they didn't.
Or they identified themselves as
one of those things where they like kick in the door as they're saying police.
Yes, exactly. It's as if you're like using your turn signal while you're already halfway into the next lane, right? Where it's like that's not right. You fucked that up completely. But anyway, yes. And then Breonna Taylor's boyfriend, understandably, like an American, like a goddamn American, knowing the castle doctrine, right? Starts blasting back at what he didn't know was the police officers. And then a gunfight ensues, and then Breonna Taylor gets fucking I think she receives bullet wounds and dies.
Yeah.
Right? I'm trying to be respectful here because that's a real thing that happened that we just forget happened. I'm serious. Right? I'm not joking. And it's like, yeah, we just forgot her. Like, if you remember from 2020, if you were around for that time, if you were aware of the time, where it's like, hey, George Floyd, but don't forget Breonna Taylor as well. And now these names are just on a wall, a metaphorical wall of just the list of dead that the police have killed of their, just complete misconduct and so much. There's just so much. Sorry, I will finish my rant.
No, I have a comment after.
Yes,
so keep on going.
Just continue. Like, I want to be clear in the specific case of Breonna Taylor, right, where an American gun owner was correctly using their right, instituting their Second Amendment rights in the castle doctrine, and firing on an intruder, and just and their loved one gets killed for it. And so many other cases where a gun owner is sleeping on a couch. Right, I'm thinking, I completely forget the name. I'll put it on the screen. I'll find this footage and put it on the screen. Not the footage, but the name. Right. Where someone awakens and it's like, yeah, the police are already through the door. You are asleep. And it's like, what the hell? Whoa. And they have a gun on them because they're an American gun owner, as they should be. And then, it's like, what's going on? And the police see the gun and they just get shot. Right? You're not allowed to be a gun owner in America.
Yeah, no, that you're actually leads straight into my point, which is there is no real Second Amendment right in this country because having a gun, something that is protected in the Second Amendment, is quote, like, legally justifiable for police to shoot you. And it's like, if you're allowed to just shoot someone for having a gun, that's not enough reason to shoot someone. So that's my mini rant of like, I'm very disappointed in American gun owners for not rising up against police. Voicing
concern against police misconduct and stomping.
Well, it normally happens to people of color, so they don't care.
Exactly. But I'm just saying, like, that's incredible. And I'm specifically speaking within the purview of, like, police are breaking into your home in the middle of the night.
Yeah, it was the wrong house too, right?
I don't think so, because I think they were specifically targeting the boyfriend. Or no, actually, you know what? I need to look at the case. So
yeah, I don't remember. I just remember when I read up on the case when it happened. I just specifically remember him being like, yeah, her boyfriend was right. Like, this is bullshit.
Yeah.
That's all I remember. So I took the important part, locked it away, and then disregarded everything else.
Yeah, but it's because, like, at this point, you just need to, not quarantine, but rather, you can only take so much.
Yeah,
your psyche can only take so much of the tragedy, so just extract what you need and learn from it. Because someone has died, and that's the best thing you can do in that situation, is learn from it.
Hey, Dominic in the edit here. There were some facts we weren't 100% on during the discussion you just watched, so at the end of the episode, just before the credits, I'm going to cut back in with more info.
So do you think Antoine learned anything about bravery in his comic today?
I think it's very cute that he did know. I'm very glad that at the end of this story, that Angelo De Cesare wrote it, where they looped it back, because it's a very, it's a formulaic thing where a stronger person watches over a weaker person, a weaker character trying to accomplish something. It's very Sonic and Tails.
Mm-hmm.
But they looped it back around where Antoine, who is a full-fledged adult, right? He's like, I know what happened here. Thank you, buddy. And it turns into a very cute moment, turns into a character building moment, and it hints at a potential romance, right?
Yeah. I'm glad we're finally getting a one-off with Antoine.
Yes, me too.
I actually like the whole bit here of Antoine obviously being extremely afraid, but willing to go through with it for Tails and whatnot.
He's scared. He's scared and fearful, but he's not a coward.
Yeah, exactly. So I do really like this comic. And what do we think about Buns and Antoine?
I think it's very like, what do you say when I guess switching gender roles. No, that's fine. That's cringe. It's just like a character who's more powerful, looping back to like, oh, maybe I do like the weakest person on the team.
Yeah.
Or like seemingly the most useless person on the team. Because this is a very Tails-esque story. Mm-hmm. Where you could have swapped Sonic and Tails for this
1,000%, yeah.
But instead it's an Antoine story, and they do handle it very different, because this is, again, we've had like 3 Tails stories where it's effectively that same blueprint, but here with Antoine, he is an adult, he's more mature, and he can recognize what's going on here, and just the fact that both characters know what's going on, I think makes it a very cute thing, a very cool thing, and I appreciate that more.
I do too. I hope this means that they're going to drop whatever, because it's very obvious in the early stuff that Antoine had a thing for Sally.
Yes, but I think I might have said this before, that Antoine, it was less so he was truly infatuated with Sally, and more so like he just wanted the power and attention.
I think
like it was like,
very early on.
It's like a political thing, right?
I think it could be interpreted either way.
It could.
Because I think there was like one specific thing where like Sally gave Sonic like a kiss on the cheek or something, and Antoine was pissed.
Sure.
So I do think at one point in time they were setting it up to be like a rivalry, competition between the two.
You Porky Pig? Yeah.
Yeah, right. No, there's just certain words that I just can't say.
No, I understand. Actually, I can see myself messing up that word.
I skipped a single word in the opening prompt that you gave me, if you remember.
No. You did?
Yeah, it was the very last word. I was like, nope, I'm not. I might. There's like a 30% chance I'll get it right. I'm not going to say it.
I originally wrote, if someone asks you about the Luigi situation, just say, that's crazy, and nod your head ambiguously.
Yeah, and I was just like, I might be ambiguously.
So,
see?
So, yeah. In college, I took a course on diction, on like operatic diction.
Oh, interesting.
Yes, and it's like, so have you heard of IPA? Not the beer thing.
No.
The International Phonetic Alphabet.
Oh, you mean like NATO, like the NATO alphabet, like alpha, beta?
No.
Okay.
So that is still using the same 26 letters, but writing them out. IPA specifically is, if you've looked in a dictionary, have you noticed when it's like, oh, here's how you pronounce this?
Yeah, and
it's those special characters.
Yeah.
Yes, that's like, hey, this, but like, so it's a whole expanded alphabet where it's like, hey, this symbol means like, or this symbol means k, right? Mm-hmm. Stuff like that. And while I didn't memorize that stuff, it did introduce me into like, oh, this is really cool. And if I had learned it, a very useful tool to like recognizing patterns, and thank you, and helping put together things, because like if you look at a dictionary, that's extremely helpful if you did recognize that. And in terms of romantic languages, and even I think beyond the romantic languages, it's very helpful.
Wait, there's more than one romantic language? This isn't a bit. I thought it was just French.
Oh, okay. So romantic languages are languages that derive from,
Is it just Latin? So Spanish,
I
French.
believe so. Yes, correct.
Okay.
So it's not just so I don't believe France, what would become the French language is the originator. I think it is Latin, and it's based on that. So it's like everything, on the southern end of Europe, including France. So France, Italy, Spain, Portuguese, and maybe some other. Yeah, and those are the big ones.
Okay.
Maybe Switzerland. Meanwhile, Germanic language is more, in the German area. German English is more Germanic than it is Romantic. And then, the Swedish.
So, sorry to completely
Nordic, yes.
Derail a podcast about Sonic the Hedgehog. So does romantic not mean then? Because I always interpreted romantic as like the
romantic
lover
history
angle of it, which is why I associated with French. It never even occurred to me that romantic might not mean romantic in the way of love and whatnot. Is that so?
That's a great question. No, it is. There are multiple ways to view the word romantic. You're correct. Romantic can be Valentine's Day, lovey-dovey, boyfriend, girlfriend, etc. But it can, on an academic level, you can, and depending on the discipline, it can mean more like history. So like the Romantic era, or romantic architecture, or romantic this or that. It's more of a period of time.
That makes perfect sense.
Yes.
I just never bothered looking it up. And so whenever I ever heard romantic in that context, I was just like, yeah, it's just the era of lovers.
Yeah, exactly.
And I just never even bothered looking at it. I was like, that's a good enough explanation for me. I'm good.
Yes. Yes. Romantic is in terms of lovey-dovey, is the more casual, mainstream 21st century interpretation of the slang of that word. Whereas,
if you guys haven't figured it out yet, Dominic is the smart one. I'm the romantic one.
You're for the streets.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, yes, when you're saying romantic languages, it is at the very least those four major ones, and I believe you're going to make me do a lot of work in clarifying in the in the edit.
You're just you bleep out everything. You're just completely wrong, and you're like, here's a 4-page essay.
Hey, Dominic here. Just a small correction. The discussion was correct. The term is romance language, not romantic language. Romance language, which means from or in Rome, which is the Latin term for it. So the discussion that we just had on it is correct, but instead of romantic language, it's romance language. Okay, thank you.
But I'm pretty sure I think it does derive from Latin. And the big countries, because if you remember basic high school level or grade school level Spanish or whatever you took.
I took Spanish 1 and failed.
Yes, but it's conjugation.
Yes, okay.
It's a lot of similar conjugation of France, they conjugate that. Spain.
It's also an English word.
It is an English word, but English.
Just say it. That's how I know it.
English and Germanic languages do not conjugate, I believe. If I'm correct. Yes, at least the ends of their words. But again, I'm not. Again, that was literally
feels right.
Yeah, it was a single course to just expose me to that world and that tool set. I don't actually know IPA. Sorry. But
no, that's super interesting.
Yes.
It's stuff like that where I'm like, if I had time and money,
if it was free, if you had time away from an 80-hour job, you could indulge in things because you're a curious mind.
Well,
you're a
no,
human.
I would 1000% take that junior college course and be like, yeah, this is cool. I love learning.
Yeah.
Anyway,
you know what else I love?
What?
Emails. I love music for those emails.
Let me get the guitar. Now it's time for Sonicgrams. You can write to Sonicgrams. Oh yeah, it's a legally distinct Sonicgrams. It's an unaffiliated Sonicgrams. We made our own Sonicgrams.
We got an email from Speed Boom.
All right.
Written as a response to episodes 27 and 28. Those episodes happened well over a month ago now. So if you reference things and we just nod our heads, it's because we don't remember. Little late this time because some real life issues came up. Wish me luck on finding my cat.
Aww.
Well, Jesus Christ, what an opener. I hope you found your cat. I'm a little upset that you haven't already sent an update, given that this was... you sent us on the 26th.
Okay, well, hold on. Don't just send us random emails.
That's true. Don't. This is the one time where I'm like, please let me know if you found your cat.
In the next one.
Yeah. You
got some more time.
You're Speed Boom. You'll write another email. Not derogatory. Don't have much to say about the issue itself, but Eve is an interesting character, as is AI turning sentient usually are.
Sentient, yeah.
Yeah, see? Okay. Now you're a stickler for everything now. Not really a huge deal, but just want to let you know in episode 27, you brought up a piece of Tracy Yardley artwork from the IDW comics. It's really close, but it's actually a redraw of an image, not the original.
I did see that too in the after that episode had gone up. I'm like, oh shit, this was a redraw. That's okay.
Well, luckily our fans are here to correct you.
Yes.
It's from Archie, not IDW. It's very close though, so it's not inaccurate to say you'll see stuff like that. It's so close. There's a chance that it actually was Tracy Yardley just redrawing it years later.
Can we just quickly say that Google Images, Google as a whole, is so fucking pathetic.
Oh, it's
now.
broken.
It's broken. I'm like, before I could have easily sourced this, but now it's just it's gone.
We're getting close to the dead internet. Sorry, Speed. We'll get back to your email. Don't worry.
I've heard about dead internet. Yes.
No, it's not that. It's just it really broke me when I realized that a lot of our responses for emails and not emails, but for like Google and whatnot, is all starting to become like AI based.
Yeah, at the very
scraping, top. The internet, and what it's scraping is responses of other things AI has like generated. So it's just like the more content the AI creates, it's scraping itself over and over again and becoming dumber and dumber.
It's so interesting, disheartening to see the entire commercial power of basically the world, but particularly the United States, just completely shift gears and just hurtle towards this one direction that is gonna crash and burn, and they're just trying to scrape a couple billion for just a short amount of time, and it's like we're burning the Library of Alexandria again.
Yeah, 1,000%.
Right? That's really what it feels like, and I hate it. And you're seeing it happen in real time.
I'm really curious about the next like 5 to 10 years, because obviously the internet's not going anywhere, but its usefulness might actually go away. Like, obviously there are things about it that will be irreplaceable. Things like video calling and whatnot, and being able to download games and movies or anything off the internet. But like, in terms of information, I don't know how useful. I guess what's going to happen is you're going to have to find like trusted like islands of like verified information.
Like Reddit is the closest thing we have right now on a mainstream level.
Yeah, but it's being filled with bots.
Yes.
Twitter is filled with bots. Blue Sky either is filled with bots, or there's a lot of sex workers that are very into me. It's honestly, it's a toss up. What I'll say is I clicked on one of the sex workers' profiles, be like, hey, who's following me? And you know what? Didn't have fingernails, so I think they're also AI generated.
Or you need to subscribe to their OnlyFans,
because that's my fetish.
So they can so they can finally get fingernails.
Oh, like cosmetically.
Support small businesses, you fucking asshole.
I only trust people with fingernails.
Okay.
The aliens
didn't know you had such a specific kink. All right.
Yeah. Human. Who knew?
Okay, so I 100%.
Yes. Sorry. I 100% get the confusion on Robotnik here, so let me explain. Initially, he was intended to be the same Robotnik from several issues ago.
I knew it.
However, due to the major inconsistencies between their characters, he was retconned by Ian Flynn to be a different one from another universe.
Okay, so we were both right.
Yeah. I think that makes sense.
Yeah.
As annoying as that is. I mean, you guys just made the character like 3-4 issues ago. Like, why are you already... It doesn't matter. So Plasma K.
That's another email
that we got. you are right. They did work at the same time, and I got the information wrong. I apologize. However, the main point was that Ian and Ken did not work together. Still, I made a mistake. My bad. I appreciate the correction.
Hey, you know what? Fuck AI internet. Fuck Google. We have a middleman in the form of Sonicgrams.
Yeah, right.
Right here. Our fans are talking to each other through Nick.
This is your Library of Alexandria, baby. Oh man. You know what? It's been so long, I actually forgot we said this, even though this is literally like 2 episodes ago.
Yeah.
But it's a big ask when Speed Boom is like, I'm not doing this.
Yep.
I'm not finding that iCarly fanfic. There's too many fanfics predating 2021 when the revival came out, and the fanfiction.net layout is not intuitive enough for me not search. If it was on AO3, it might have been a different story. Still, I followed Nick on Blue Sky in case I ever find a story to give him. Also, Nick, what you have to do is not just search iCarly, but search it, find a fic, click category to take you to every fanfic listed as iCarly, and you'll discover that is not only 1,701, but rather 13,360.
Yeah, man.
I mean, I don't have a submission for you because I forgot this was a thing.
That's okay.
As I'm writing this, I see that Sonic 1 Let's Play series is set up, good to go on a daily basis starting on the 26th. Really looking forward to that. If you guys are planning on going through the whole series, I can give an in-depth list that goes over which games you should play and which ones you should play more than others. I already made it months ago, so it would be no trouble. You can send it.
But there's no guarantee that
I think we're going to be pretty free flow.
Because it's more like based on how we're feeling. It's like, okay, we're kind of 2D platforming out right now. So let's switch to 3D stuff.
Yeah, but also Sonic CD is our next one.
Yes, I think our plan, which changes, but I think our plan is Sonic 1, 2, CD 3, and Knuckles, which is the Knuckles one, I should say.
Yeah, just Sonic 3,
and then jump around.
Yes.
They're shorter games, so that's okay.
They all seem to be 2 hours long, so we can record them in one sitting.
Exactly.
Anyway, for my last thing, I'd like to propose a task for you simply because I'm bored. You are in no way obligated to do this, but I thought it'd be fun. Every issue, you pick out a random panel from said issue. It could be a serious panel, funny one, weird one, anything. It could be a small panel, or it could be one of those huge ones where the comic fills 2 pages with a picture show big event. If you did this, I would then redraw said panel in my sketchbook. Again, no obligation, but I thought it'd be fun.
So I don't think we want to go through the effort of selecting a specific panel, but I know at the start of if you're watching this on YouTube, at the start of every theme song, I switch out. I pick 3 random funny ass panels out of context too.
Mm-hmm.
So how about this? And if we remember to put it on screen, but if you want to sketch stuff, look at the intro. Got to go faster, faster, faster. Got to talk fast. And then it's those 4 panels, and just pick any one of those 4. And they're all going to be goofy. None of them are going to be like 2-page or grandiose or whatever. They're all going to be goofy.
And if you send them in, we'll probably find, it'd be really fun whenever I do my live streaming stuff. Maybe I can take fan drawings and put it up for like the countdown timer as it's going down.
Oh, that would be nice to do a master list.
Yeah. If I get enough fan drawings of Sonic.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
it's got to be something you draw, just not random things you find on the internet.
Look, the original Sonicgrams had fan drawings from the very get-go.
Yeah.
Somehow even before the first issue. But
yeah, weird how that worked out.
Yeah, but
maybe they showed them to their kids. Yeah, I'm going to draw them.
I was literally just saying that, like, Angela DeCesare was like, or whomever was like, hey, little Billy, you want to draw this? But I think it'd be really cool if we also had an art section. I don't know if we get to a point where it's so much, or even from the get-go, if it's like, this is a lot, or like, this is so much art, we can't go over every single one. Please, we are acknowledging that now, but still, hey, look, send us stuff. It doesn't hurt.
Yeah, and this goes to everyone, not just Speed.
Yeah, we're not just talking to Speedball. We are laying the groundwork for everyone here.
Yeah,
that's why we're saying stuff.
We might just end up, if we get enough, maybe we'll change out the outro or something and have slideshow of that or something. I don't know. I don't know why we're trying to brainstorm on air. I keep on doing this, and it's something I shouldn't do. Also, Speed Boom wished us a happy Christmas, Merry Christmas. So thank you
to you as well. Happy New Year.
Yeah, happy holidays to everyone who listens to Gotta Talk Fast. We have another email from Plasma K. Greetings. This mail is in regard to Sonic issue number 23. Which
is the one that we're reading right now.
Is it? Yes, it is. I'm not sure if you already recorded it, but seeing that you accidentally used panels from it in your review of issue number 22, I'd say probably. Wow, Dominic.
Oops.
Embarrassing. Do you think that a lesson to present
Princess
Sally, who would recognize dangers of solitary rule, or will she be clean? Wait, what is happening?
Do you think that was a lesson to Princess Sally? So I think they're just going straight into like the plot. So do you think, I mean, probably did talk about this on that episode. Do you think that was a lesson to Princess Sally, or who would, okay, I'll just preempt this. Do you think Sally will cling to she will become Queen Sally, or will she democratize the system?
Oh,
which I think it's already been in a timeline, in a time skip, we've established that she does become queen. So it's a benevolent ruler situation.
I think this is in reference to 22, where we see
Robotnik is gone. No, Robotnik comes back.
Yeah. Episode 22 or issue 22 has Queen Sally in it. Okay, sorry. I was my brain was a little broken. I thought you were specifically referencing this issue that we just read, and I was just like, I don't know how that pertains. Do I think recognize the dangerous Sally? I think she clings to power, man.
That would certainly be more interesting.
I know they won't, but I think she definitely has an air of how can I word this?
Yeah, birthright.
Yeah, birthright.
This
Like she definitely. I do think she's like, I'm entitled to rule.
Yeah.
I think if the writers were true to the character, that is exactly how it would go down.
I think that would be very interesting as well, and I agree. The question is, will they make something out of that, or will they just be like, hey?
No, she's a benevolent,
yeah, exactly,
reader.
benevolent ruler.
Thank you.
And it's like everything's hunky dory, no problems whatsoever. That is the framework. That's all good. A good person, as long as you choose a good person, we don't need input from anyone else, and that's great. So I think it'd be interesting if either they explore like what that really means, and she turns into a tyrannical ruler, or she has those tendencies and they have to navigate that, or B, it's like, they do the UK where they actually have a parliament.
Yeah. Man, I would absolutely love a story of Sally realizing that either that she shouldn't be queen and like should step down as ruler because like she's not good at it or something.
Right.
And like it's a lot of like, I'm not gonna say bad calls, but very like calls you would expect from a monarch, and being like
yeah, of course they're gonna do that because that's their framework.
Exactly.
I have divine rule.
Yeah. Or her being like such a bad leader, like they have to have
they coup. Or
a group of freedom fighters comes up against Princess Sally.
Okay.
And we'll have like Sonic trying to figure out, hey, it's Sally, but also she's kind of in the wrong. That's the kind of story I want to hear. But will we get that? I mean, I don't know. I hear this thing goes places. So that's my answer, Plasma K. I don't even know if I answered your question. Also, I thought it was nice that there was an Antoine and Bunny story somewhat early on, two characters that often get ignored by the narrative. I agree 1,000%. I liked that Antoine, for like a second time, got a bit more characterization that wasn't bumbling idiot or coward. And also, I would like to point out that this issue was him specifically not being a coward, which I really like.
He was kind of bumbling idiot, though. Completely had no self-awareness or like any kind of tactical awareness of the situation, which is exactly what you want from a defense minister,
Yeah,
right?
for sure. But he maxed out luck, so also I can see how. Also, I could see how there was a possibility to not have a reveal that he knew that he was helped, and I'm glad that they didn't. And it went that. Yeah, I agree. I'm glad that.
He's not dumb.
Yeah.
He has dumb moments, or maybe they used to characterize him as dumb, but I like to think that he is. I mean, he did get to that position somehow.
Yeah.
Right. I just hope
he maxed out luck.
He maxed out luck, or he became defense minister because he was really good at like internal policing,
mm-hmm.
but he didn't know how to handle like the Robotnik situation.
Sure.
How fucking cool would that be?
That'd be good.
That'd be cool.
If he's like low key part of the reason why this invasion like happened because he screwed up, that would make him 8 during the invasion.
That's true.
So maybe it would be more on the Empire for putting an 8-year-old in charge.
Oops.
Because I think he's 18.
Mm-hmm.
To follow up the discussion on how fanfiction outside of FFnet would be lost, FFnet had several purges where adult fanfiction, especially slash fics.
Do you know what those are?
I'm going to take 2 stabs /stab. I'm trying to make a joke.
Mm-hmm.
One is slash fics are mainly about like horror people.
No.
Okay. Well, adult fanfic and slashing, I think that makes sense. You know, like Michael from Friday the 13th, like, but because it's adult, he like also, you know, we get boobs.
I like your thought process.
And then stabs. Oh, I'm sorry, slashes.
Yeah, you're incorrect, but I like it.
The other, which is, I think the real answer is slash to me would mean maybe cross. So maybe a cross between, say, like iCarly and Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Very close. So it's not that. It would just be, I think they would do X. So it'd be like
that makes more sense.
But you're on the right track. So the term originated in, I think, Star Trek fan fiction, where it was a lot of Kirk and Spock romances, like gay romances.
Oh, so the slash is like these two are getting together.
Yes, and that became nomenclature for, okay, if you see like...
So if it was iCarly
it would
slash Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, it'd be Carly with all 4 of the turtles.
Why all 4?
Well, because they're a group. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles is a group. Am I wrong?
It would be Carly / Raphael, or Carly /
the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Do you think do you think it's like a polyamorous relationship between April O'Neil and the Turtles?
Oh, well, I think
because she gets with Casey in some cases.
Yeah,
right?
no. If she's with the Turtles, she is only having sex with one of them.
Okay,
but they all consider it a relationship. I mean, they're brothers in the way where if one's getting laid, they're like, we're all getting laid.
It's Eskimo.
Yeah.
Eskimo brothers.
Wait, doesn't that mean that they fucked?
I don't know.
I think it does.
I actually don't know.
You think the turtles are just fucking each other, man?
How do they do it in the wild?
No, we're specifically talking about Teenage Mutant Turtles.
Oh, okay.
I mean, it's not like they have other female turtles to go out and bang. That's not true. During the live action Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, they had a girl turtle. I just remember she had a very long bandana that was like also a ponytail.
Okay.
And I remember the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles crossover with Power Rangers.
I never really liked the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
You don't like cool things?
I just think it's very radical for radical's sake. I will say the first piece of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles media to actually get me invested was the latest one. It was
Mutant Mayhem.
Yes.
Yeah, I thought that movie was great.
I thought it was awesome too. They are ripping off the art style of Spider-Verse, but
I disagree completely.
How?
It's Into the Spider-Verse was a lot more comic booky in the sense
and
that
so was Mutant Mayhem.
Yeah. I think Agents Mutant Mayhem I think had a very like specific type of style to try to like I think they're like aping that style but not copying it completely.
Oh, then I agree. Yes.
And with the Spider-Verse, they do a thing where they like change up styles all the time.
Correct.
So I think
there are
it's
differences.
not 1-to-1. Yeah.
But I did cheapen the discussion by saying they copied it. What I really meant was that the director of, I don't know if this is what really happened, but the director of Mutant Mayhem went to the producers and was like, hey, Spider-Verse, that just won Oscars, making bank.
I can guarantee you
that's what happened.
That it was the producers that went to the director
okay.
and was just like, hey, Spider-Verse making bank. Let's see if we could do that.
Yes. But either way, that's what I mean by ripping off. It's not ripping off.
I had a conversation with someone where they were trying to tell me that Hans Zimmer sucked as like a music guy, right?
I understand if you don't like him.
Well,
if you don't like his style.
And so I was just like, well, what does that mean? Because I mean, that guy has like such a huge soundtrack. Like that dude did Lion King.
Mm-hmm.
That dude did the Tom Cruise racing movie. That dude did Lion King. And so I'm like, what's going on here? And Days of Thunder was the Tom Cruise racing movie. And he was just like, well, all of his like soundtracks are just like that, like,
no, they don't know what they're talking about. They don't know what they're talking
about. No, he has made a lot of those, but that's because producers are going up to Hans Zimmer being like, I want Inception. Or was it Inception that did it?
Inception was the first one.
Yeah. And then I feel like Interstellar also did it.
Correct. But that came after. And
that was Hans too.
But that was also Nolan. Both of them were Nolan films.
Yeah, but Nolan was like doing specific things.
Yes, exactly.
And then everyone else just was like, I want that. And so like there's a period of like 5-6 movies that Hans Zimmer did where it has very similar styles.
And it's an era too where a lot of other composers are now kind of gipping that style as well.
Yeah, exactly.
That's the trend.
I also think Hans kind of I would need to like sit down and really listen to his soundtracks, but I do think he plays around with styles and
he does.
Influence
Dune,
what he's doing at the time. Because I listened to Lion King recently and then watched Days of Thunder, which is specifically why I brought up those as my example. Mm-hmm. And as I was watching Days of Thunder, I was like, I feel like there's some Lion King in this.
That makes sense.
And they came out around the same time. Like he definitely would have been working on them at the same time.
Yeah. So it's like, because it's like how the Lion King opening, that. But if you listen, like, it sounds like a race car engine.
Yeah. And then when you watch Days of Thunder, you'll realize that all the race cars are literally just all of the.
Yes, that's called. That's how that works.
I forgot Hans Zimmer did the sound design too for Days of Thunder. I'm in the middle of an email. I'm so sorry, Plasma K. Question for Dominic.
Yes.
Oh, wait. So
FFnet had several purges where adult fanfictions, especially slashfics, would be deleted. That's a shame. So hosting fanfics there isn't such a safe option. Interesting. I can narrow it down further in that it is still there. I can guarantee you it's still there.
Question for Dominic. You spelled it right the first time.
Yes, it is Dominic.
Did you ever gotten into a thing by reading fan fiction about it? I'm not sure if I would have ever gone into Naruto, if not the desire to see how the actual story went.
That's interesting. No. I can definitely say for sure I haven't, and I don't think that would be a path that I would take. I don't know. It'd have to be a really freaking... And, it's not just fanfiction.net. It can be any fan thing, right? Maybe there is one out there that was like, this is so freaking cool. Like a YouTube fan animation, because it's so good now.
Mm-hmm.
It's amazing. I don't think so. I think I can see myself doing it. So if I have... let me get back to you on that, because there's a chance that I might have without realizing it, but I don't think I have. Not consciously anyway.
Okay. We're going to ignore your PS because that is a spoiler for the next issue.
But thank you for writing in.
So I won't delete this, and then we'll revisit it next issue. I should sit down and figure out these issues. I know Speed Boom sent out a correction that our issue numbers were completely wrong.
And also,
I think I just completely ignored, like, I acknowledged it, and then I was just like, yep, and then I just didn't fix it.
It's entirely up in the air if we will do Sonic X or not, because that is literally 70 weeks of our lives if we do Sonic X.
I think if we do... Dude, okay, what's 70 weeks in the grand scheme of 10 years? That's over a year. That's actually adding multiple years.
That is more than 10%. That is more than 10% of the total. Nick.
Do you fucking want to do this right, or do you want to do this right, Dominic? What?
I want to do this left. Okay.
I got nothing. We'll have more of an in-depth conversation in 2 years and figure it out. And that's the issue. Only 398 left to go. I'm Nick. I stream at twitch.tv/Mojosaurus, and my personal blue sky is at Mojosaurus.
And I'm Dominic. You can follow my jazz adventures in Chicago at Blue Collar Jazz, and my personal blue sky at Domguan.
We have a video version of this podcast where you can follow along with panels and watch our handsome faces.
You can follow us on socials at Gotta Talk Fast. TikTok is at Gotta Talk Faster.
You can write in to the show at sonicgrams@gottatalkfast.com, ask us questions, provide corrections, and give us your opinion on this week's issue. In case you haven't seen it yet, we have started doing some Let's Plays. We have done a Let's Play of Sonic 1 and 2, and our next game will be Sonic CD, which we haven't recorded yet. So whenever we have time, which might be in a week, might be in a month. We are not setting, like, we get to them when we get to them.
Yes.
We consider the comic more important, and we will be concentrating on that. I personally apologize for the delay in this week's issue. It was on me. So, yeah. And remember, when life keeps going fast, you gotta talk fast and just get through it.
Like and subscribe to our channel. You skipped like 2 lines, bro.
Yeah, I know.
I like how you just forget how to read as well.
Yeah, if I don't read all the time, I forget, man. I'm out of practice. I'm like, what are words?
Are you like Google? Like the only way you can like consume knowledge now and information is through that Google Notebook thing, where it has a concerted window that turns whatever sources you put into it into a podcast.
Oh, ew.
Yeah.
I don't like our society.
No, I don't either. Bye.
Hey, so I'm recording this for all our audio-only listeners who can't see the text on the screen. It is disputed if the police in the killing of Breonna Taylor announced their presence or not before the raid, with some witnesses saying they did, while others didn't really hear anything. No body cam footage of the actual raid exists because the police did not have body cameras or had them turned off, according to local news sources. Regardless, the police had a no-knock warrant, which granted them the legal clearance to break in without announcing themselves. Police believe Breonna Taylor was involved with the drug dealings of another boyfriend 10 miles away from the scene of her death, but all connections were found to be incidental, and she has not been brought forth as a defendant by any prosecutor. Which is weird to say because she's dead, but that's still something that can happen, I guess, post-mortem. The other person who was killed by police in their home that I was referencing was 22-year-old Amir Locke. Now, Amir Locke was not named in the no-knock search warrant and was not a target of the homicide investigation that prompted the whole raid in the first place, so just literally caught in the crossfire. According to Amir's family, he had a permit to carry a gun, which he felt he needed for protection from robberies while working for DoorDash. So Amir Locke was a legal gun owner, sleeping on the couch, asleep, probably a deep sleep from what I've seen, and of the footage. And just being awakened, and within less than 10 seconds, the police just come in and shoot him. So that's something else. 2 of Breonna Taylor's killers were convicted on federal charges, with the third awaiting trial. As for Amir Locke's killer, both state and county authorities did not file criminal charges, which the family was understandably very upset about. The only charge that has been brought forth in the killing of Amir Locke is a civil lawsuit filed by Locke's family in February of 2023. Unfortunately, the bad news doesn't stop there. In 2022, during a demonstration for Amir Locke, a man got into a verbal altercation with protesters that ended with him pulling a handgun into the crowd, shooting into the crowd, killing 1 and injuring 4. So a protest about Amir Locke's death resulted in another death. The murderer had expressed animosity towards Antifa, and Black Lives Matter, and had expressed support for Nazis, Proud Boys, and Kyle Rittenhouse. He was convicted on 9 counts, including murder, because, you can't just get away with that shit if you're not a cop, and sentenced on April 18th, 2023 to life in prison with a possibility of parole after 55 years. So, justice? Look, this is all bleak, but Nick and I wanted to make sure we got proper context and information for something as important as the issues we brought up during the podcast filming, because people have died. Our main point: you are not allowed to be a gun owner in America if the police simply believe you're a threat to them. And if you protest about it, there may be counter-protesters who may confront you with lethal intent. And that's just a matter of fact. Take this information and process it, so you're not caught off guard and paralyzed should it happen to you. Be careful out there. Sonic the Hedgehog. See you next week.
Gotta talk, gotta talk.
Gotta Talk Fast was written by Nick Folkerts and edited by Dominic Guanzon. Intro and outro themes recorded by Dominic Guanzon. Gotta Go Fast originally composed by Norman J. Grossfeld, Joseph Garrity, and Russell Velasquez.
Gotta talk, gotta talk. Gotta talk, gotta talk. Gotta talk, gotta talk. Gotta talk. Gotta talk fast. Gotta talk fast. Gotta talk fast. Gotta talk fast.